Spotted dove. The spotted dove Spilopelia chinensis is a small and somewhat long-tailed pigeon that is a common resident breeding bird across its native range on the Indian subcontinent and in Southeast Asia. The species has been introduced to many parts of the world and feral populations have become established. This species was formerly included in the genus Streptopelia with other turtle doves, but studies suggest that they differ from typical members of that genus. This dove is long-tailed buff brown with a white spotted black collar patch on the back and sides of the neck. The tail tips are white and the wing coverts have light buff spots. There are considerable plumage variations across populations within its wide range. The species is found in light forests and gardens as well as in urban areas. They fly from the ground with an explosive flutter and will sometimes glide down to a perch. It is also called the mountain dove, pearl-necked dove, lace-necked dove, and spotted turtle dove. Taxonomy. The spotted dove was formally described in 1786 by the Austrian naturalist Giovanni Antonio Scapoli and given the binomial name Columba chinensis. This species was formerly included in the genus Streptopelia. A molecular phylogenetic study published in 2001 found the genus was paraphyletic with respect to Columba. To create monophyletic genera, the spotted dove as well as the closely related laughing dove were moved to the resurrected genus Spilopelia that had been introduced by the Swedish zoologist Carl Sundevall in 1873. Sundevall had designated Columba tigrina as the type species, a taxon that is now considered a subspecies of the spotted dove. Several subspecies have been proposed for the plumage and size variations seen in different geographic populations. The nominate form is from China Canton, which is also the origin of the introduced population in Hawaii. Subspecies Formosa from Taiwan has been considered as doubtful and indistinguishable from the nominate population. The population in India Ceratensis type locality Surat and Ceylonensis from Sri Lanka have fine rufous or buff spots on the back. There is a size reduction trend with specimens from southern India being smaller, and Ceylonensis may merely be a part of this climb. The lesser and median wing coverts are also spotted at the tip in buff. This spotting is lacking on populations further north and east of India, such as tigrina, which also differ greatly in vocalizations from the Indian forms. The population from Hainan Island is placed in Hainana. Others like Vacillans equals chinensis and Foresti equals tigrina and Edwardi from Chabua equals ceratensis have been considered invalid. 5 subspecies are recognized. S. C. ceratensis G. Mellon, J.F. 1789 Pakistan, India, Nepal and Bhutan. S. C. ceylonensis Reichenbach, 1851 Sri Lanka has shorter wings than ceratensis. S. C. tigrina temminck, 1809 Bangladesh and northeast India through Indochina to Philippines and the Sunda Islands. S. C. chinensis Scapoli, 1786 northeast Myanmar to central and east China, Taiwan. S. C. Hainana Hartert, 1910 Hainan off southeast China. The subspecies S. c. ceratensis and S. c. ceylonensis differ significantly from the other subspecies in both plumage and vocalization. This has led some ornithologists to treat S. c. ceratensis as a separate species, the western spotted dove. Description: the ground color of this long and slim dove is rosy buff below shading into gray on the head and belly. There is a half collar on the back and sides of the neck made of black feathers that bifurcate and have white spots at the 2 tips. The median coverts have brown feathers tipped with rufous spots in the Indian and Sri Lankan subspecies, which are divided at the tip by a widening gray shaft streak. The wing feathers are dark brown with gray edges. The center of the abdomen and vent are white. The outer tail feathers are tipped in white and become visible when the bird takes off. Sexes are similar, but juveniles are duller than adults and do not acquire the neck spots until they are mature. The length ranges from 28 to 32 centimeters 2 to 8 inches. Abnormal plumages such as leucism can sometimes occur in the wild. Distribution and habitat. The spotted dove in its native range in Asia is found across a range of habitats including woodland. In India it tends to be found in the moister regions, with the laughing dove S. senegalensis appearing more frequently in drier areas. These doves are mostly found on the ground where they forage for seeds and grain or on low vegetation. The species has become established in many areas outside its native range. These areas include Hawaii, Southern California, Mauritius, Australia, and New Zealand. In Australia, they were introduced in Melbourne in the 1860s and has since spread, but there is insufficient evidence that they compete with native doves. They are now found in streets, parks, gardens, agricultural areas, and tropical scrubs in diverse locations in southern and eastern Australia, from Eyre Peninsula in South Australia to Cape York in Queensland. The original populations appear to be chinensis and tigrina in varying proportions. Behavior and ecology. Spotted doves move around in pairs or small groups as they forage on the ground for grass seeds, grains, fallen fruits, and seeds of other plants. They may, however, take insects occasionally and have been recorded feeding on winged termites. The flight is quick with regular beats and an occasional sharp flick of the wings. A display flight involves taking off at a steep angle with a loud clapping of the wing and then slowly gliding down with the tail spread out. The breeding season is spread out in warm regions but tends to be in summer in the temperate ranges. In Hawaii, they breed all year round, as do all three other introduced species of doves. Males coo, bow, and make aerial displays in courtship. In southern Australia, they breed mostly from September to January, and in the north in autumn. They nest mainly in low vegetation, building a flimsy cup of twigs in which two whitish eggs are laid. Nests are sometimes placed on the ground or on buildings and other structures. Both parents take part in building the nest, incubating and feeding the young. The eggs hatch after about 13 days and fledge after a fortnight. More than one brood may be raised. The vocalizations of the spotted dove include cooing softly with a cru-cru-cru-cru, cru-cru-cru, with the number of terminal crus varying in the Indian population and absent in Tigrina, chinensis, and other populations to the east. The species has been extending its range in many parts of the world. Populations may sometimes rise and fall rapidly within a span of about 5 years. In the Philippines, the species may be outcompeting Streptopelia bitorquata. Their habit of flushing into the air when disturbed makes them a hazard on airfields, often colliding with aircraft and sometimes causing damage.